With fear of God and faith and love draw near.
Blessed is he who cometh in the name of the Lord. The Lord is God and hath revealed himself unto us.
Okay, when I was a child at one time. When I was a child, all I knew about fasting was that we didn't eat meat on Friday. And who else do you think, when I was a child, what other group didn't eat meat on Friday? Catholics. So we just kind of mirrored. I mean, I grew up in New York where there were 6 million, at that time, 6 million Roman Catholics, 2 million Puerto Rican, 2 million Irish, 2 million Italian, 2 million Jewish people. There were 8 million people in New York. I said, where do the rest of us fit in? I don't know. But the point is that we grew up with that you didn't eat meat on Friday. And as I started to study for the priesthood, of course, I found out we don't eat meat on Wednesday. Now, then when I was really getting more serious into the priesthood, I told my mother, "Ma, we're not supposed to eat meat for 40 days. She said, "Oh my God, you'll die." I said, "What?" She says, No, where you get that from? My mother didn't have an accent, by the way. She said, "Where'd you get that from?" I said, "Ma, we're not supposed to eat meat for 40 days. So finally, Mom accepted that. And then we told her about Holy Week, which during Holy Week, not only don't you eat animal foods, you eat even less, okay? So we're going along fine. Then I came home and I said, "Mom, the week before Lent begins, we're supposed to give up meat." She said, "Why don't you just cut my throat and suck out the blood? I mean, how much?" I said, "No, this was always a problem for people that would come to the Orthodox Church of why didn't we eat meat the week before Lent, okay? And we're talking about meat, chicken and, we're not talking about fish, all right? So why is it, why the meat? Meat consumption is an obstacle to the body's self-control. You know that? Meat consumption is an obstacle to having self-control. Meat, especially red meat, actually heats up the blood, thus increasing the body's desires. And that's not just a matter of physical, conjugal desires. It's all anger, annoyance. Your temper goes up, and this is a proven fact by science. Science did studies and found that red meat actually heats up the blood. All right. So the reason that we try and stay away from meat, and in monasteries, if they're following it properly, monasteries do not have meat at all. They never eat meat. Okay, monasteries do not eat meat any day of the week, all right? They can eat fish. Just a digression, because I'm sure somebody will bring it up. There are some Orthodox jurisdictions that allow shellfish. But I wanted to explain to you something. When you look at the Orthodox Church, it's like looking at the United States. Some states have different laws. If something's legal in one state, it's not legal in another state, okay? They used to have what they call blue laws. And people would drive, if they lived near the border of a state where liquor was allowed, they would drive in there on a Saturday afternoon, get drunk, and probably get killed going back to the dry areas where they lived in. You could even have that within the same state. The point is that don't think because one group allows shellfish and the other one doesn't, that they're not Orthodox. It's just their particular tradition. We have gone way too far when it comes to Lent in the mechanics of it. We're way into this, okay? Exactly what is in the food. Is it this? Is it that? Is the other thing? Then it becomes a diet, all right? So we stay away from red meat because we're trying to control our so-called passions. Again, I'm not just talking about conjugal passions. I'm talking about losing your temper, getting upset, yelling, screaming, whatever. By removing meat from our diet, we increase our spiritual direction because we are lessening our physical desires. So what is Lent all about? It's an opportunity to get stronger spiritually. Now, I am going to, this is not a commercial. First of all, I do not get anything out of this. I very rarely endorse books because I very rarely read books. I'm not a book reader. I would admit that to people. In fact, I was ahead of my time. Okay, I was into what are called movies and visual more than this. Okay, usually if I want to fall asleep, I can read a book. But this book, it's called Journey to Reality: Sacramental Life in a Secular Age by Zachary Portcou. I spent the whole week reading this book, and again, I'm not a prolific reader. okay? But I really got into this book, and from now on, I want to know the people that no one will be baptized in this church that has not read this book. This book is really eye-opening. This book is really, it's definitely, this book will show you such a connection between people and God. Or a lot of the questions that people ask you, I know that one of our people called me this week or left me a text that they had encountered someone that came up with something and so on and so forth. And I thought, well, if they had read the book, they would know better. So just for your information, just while we're getting that out, the adult baptisms will be on Saturday, March 30th. And those people that want to get baptized, you need to buy this book. And I'm not going to tell you to go borrow it. You need to keep the book. I've just had one reading with this book. I expect to read this book many more times, okay? We may be having a retreat in April, and this book will be the basis of the retreat, okay? It's very rare that I get this jacked up about a book, okay? But this book was, the way it is written, it just makes it so much common that I can really clue into it, because quite often religious books require a lot of theological thinking, and this is not like that. So, because we are lessening our physical desires, the whole purpose of Lent is to reconnect with God. The whole purpose of Lent is to reprioritize your priorities, because we're not doing that. What we're doing is you might think, well, I could say, well, of course you come to church on Sunday. Think of all the people that don't go to church on Sunday. Think of all the people that go to churches where church is more of an entertainment. Okay, they've got a great band, they got great music, they got great food. Okay, recently, Richard Guzman and Isaac, who both go to UCF, all right, we talked about this, what's known as the, Richard? What is the fellowship, the thing at UCF is called, what, Orthodox Fellowship? OCF, Orthodox Christian Fellowship. Yeah, so there's a chapter there, there's an Orthodox chapter at UCF, and it basically, what it does is it gets together for social functions. Okay, fellowshipping and social functions. So Richard and Isaac explained that they wanted to have a table, like all these different disparate groups at UCF have a table. Okay, there could be an Islamic table, could be a Hindu table, could be a whatever table, Jehovah's Witness, and they said that they thought the table should be bringing material to people in that age group to learn more about the Orthodox Church. And the leadership of the OCF at UCF was not interested. They said, no, we're not really into that. They're more into the social and, fellowshipping things, which those are fine, but they should never become the primary reason. It's the same thing goes back to Lent. Lent should not be just a time of where you don't eat certain foods. It's a renewal. It's a time of really thinking about where you're at. And when I was reading this, and I've been a priest for over 50 years, I'm reading this book and I'm thinking, like, whoa, this is great imagery. I really like the way this book was explained. I was thinking about people in the parish that would get a lot out of this. So I just want to make the people knowing about want to get baptized. We always ask you to read the book, The Orthodox Church by Timothy Ware. This is now required. You need to read this book. And those who were recently baptized, you need to get this book. And everybody, you got it?
No, did Gabby
Order it for the bookstore?
Gabby's already got them?
No.
She's asking.
Oh yeah, Gabrielle, when you get a chance, we need to order these books.
For the bookstore.
Okay, I just need a picture of that.
Yeah, okay. All right, it comes from Ancient Faith. All right.
I'll text you.
So what I'm getting at is that we need to, no, I don't believe that we do things just for the sake of doing them. So the lessening of meat, because what happens now is I go into a new regimen. I'm starting with this week, so we're not eating meat, but I'm looking towards the Great Lenten journey. And Lent should not be a thing of like, oh no. Have you ever heard that? Yeah, oh no, Lent again. It came back. Okay, it comes back because we do it. We need the Lent. We need to be in Lent. Okay, so the point is that it's if we do a cold turkey, if we tell you, for example, we don't do. Let's say we eat meat this week, and then next Monday, the 18th, boom, no more this. It's like your body's shocked. Did anybody here used to smoke cigarettes? Okay. Okay. How many of you, when you gave them up what they call cold turkey?
Me.
How many gave them up, but not cold turkey? Took time. Okay? Cold turkey is very shocking. It's very difficult to do that. Okay? It's like a person, and I did this one time with a priest to prove my point. I said, Father, he said, I would never, I cannot say the F word. I said, I'll give you $10 if you say the F word. Got up to $100. I said, I'll give you $100, but now you have to say it 3 times. I'll get my money's worth. He went, he got it out. The point is, he was not used to using the word. There are people that cannot say a sentence without that word in it. That's how it becomes second nature. So what we're trying to do is to refigure where we're at and what we're going to do. So by giving up the meat this week, it kind of gets us into the mood, okay, for Lent. Honestly, don't put your hand up if you don't want to do, please, I don't like that. How many people are looking forward to Lent? And if you don't put your hand up, it doesn't make you a bad person. But be honest, how many people are looking forward to Lent? Why? Loud.
More of a peaceful time.
What?
It's more peaceful for me. Making the time to, not eat all the foods, but also just like to contemplate, retrospection, just to read more, to pray more, and I just feel overall better.
But you could only do those things to pray more, to think more, to readjust the way you're thinking. But you can only do those things if you were taking time away from something else. Because there's only 24 hours in a day. Okay, in a monastery, there's 8 hours of prayer, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of sleep. You only have so many, you can't make more time. So in order to do that, you'd have to take time away from something else. What do you think you might be taking time away from?
Well, if you're not preparing those rich foods, right? And
you don't prepare it anyhow. Nah.
No, yeah, but the whole family. Right?
No, I don't.
Simple cooking.
No, because they're excuse me. Only these guys that are converts, they have simple food during Lent. Either spaghetti, if it's not made with, whatever, or vegetables, boring. All Orthodox that are ethnics, they've spent centuries coming up with great recipes that taste better than they do with meat. I don't know if you like them or not. The what do you call it, dolmades, the stuffed grape leaves. Yeah, the Greek ones that are made without meat, I eat them any day over the ones with the meat, okay? But what I'm getting at, you're taking time away from television, taking time away from the phone, taking time away from texting, taking time away from entertainments. So now you have the time to do this stuff. But if you don't make a commitment, like I'm not going to do those things that I would normally be doing, you're not going to have the time, okay? It's a time of spiritual reflection and direction. In actuality, we are called upon to control our passions all the time. How many times what is the idea of in the West? In the West, what do people do for Lent? In the West, in the Western culture for Lent, if they're observing Lent, what do? What is the one that you always hear all the time? What?
Choose something to give up.
They're giving up something. I'm going to give up bubblegum. I'm going to give up sweets. Okay, I'm going to give up whatever it might be. I'm going to give up going to the movie. The point is that a person has no time. They said, I'm giving up sweets for Lent. What are you giving up? I said, how much more do you want me to give up? I mean, it's not a matter of giving up something. It's a matter of just redirecting what I'm going to be looking at. So, for example, I can tell you, if you said to me, Father John, what are you going to eat for Lent? It's 6 weeks of Lent. Okay, I already got it in my mind.
Oh, he does this by the week.
Yeah. I have 1 week of capellini, angel hair spaghetti. I have 1 week of mjadra, which is lentils and, what do you call that stuff, wheat. And then I have 1 week of what I call, it's a type of kibbeh, which you would know what that is, but it's made with beans. And then I repeat it. So I don't have to worry about what's going to get made for Lent. I already got the thing laid out. I got 6 weeks right then and there. So I'm not worrying about it anymore. I'm thinking about what I'm going to eat for dinner. Got it all made. You make it at one time, and each day you take some out and you eat it. All right? So the purpose of Great Lent is not to just endure a period of denial, but hopefully to create in ourselves, with the help of God, to have the Spirit in charge. The spirit. Now, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands. A number of people in our community, a number of them, suffer from pornography. A number of them. And I know that because I hear confessions, and this is on almost everyone's sheet, pornography. So they'll think about it and they'll say, yeah, I shouldn't do it, I realize it, but I'm a person that likes to go by process. I know that this will bring about that, and I'll wind up over there. So in Lent, you're saying, I'm not going to do any of that stuff. If you people really want to make a Lenten journey more meaningful, give up your phone. Now, I can guarantee you, if we said to people, give up your phone, that's tough. That's tough. In fact, I've said for years, if the Orthodox Church said, okay, if we said to Nakim, Nakim, you can eat whatever you want. Okay? But you have to be truly, truly forgiving. You have to truly, truly be loving. Now, I don't mean Nakim, but you know what people would say? What is it you didn't want us to eat? It's easier to give up food than it is to give up the passions. And I don't mean just sexual passions. I'm talking about the passions of anger and running your mouth and talking about people and inappropriate language. Jokes. Look, anybody who knows me a long time knows I love to joke. But I've given up most jokes because if the joke is insulting to a particular group of people, I try not to say it. I try not to listen to it. So Lent is a time where you become in charge and not the physical. Therefore, we should see in Great Lent a blessed opportunity to change our lives from the physical weights to the soulful freedom. So when we talk about Lent, how are we approaching Lent?
I heard it compared to spiritual boot camp because it's almost impossible to maintain that level of intensity all year, but it's like a preparation and then going out to do spiritual battle the rest of the year. And so it's like kind of really drilling intensely for those 40 days in order to be able to, well, on the one hand, get a solid footing for the rest of the year, but also like figure out where our weak spots are. Because this priest was saying if any one of us does Lent perfectly and like attends all the services, fasts perfectly, prayers, doesn't give in to any of the passions, then that's a huge temptation to pride even. Whereas most of us will fall here or there, and that will be humbling, and it'll let us see ourselves clearly so we know where we need to work on for the rest of the year.
Anybody here ever almost drowned? Anybody here ever almost drowned? Okay, I almost drowned. Anybody here ever fallen and broken, like fell from a ladder or fell from one story up and broke bones? Anybody?
I fell off my rollerblades.
Nobody but me? You did, okay. Because I almost drowned, and I'll give you the last one. For those that don't know it, not looking for sympathy, I have skin cancer. I've had it for years, okay? I have skin cancer because I used to sit in the sun all the time, okay? This is, but I did. If you saw me in the sun, I'm running out of the sun because I don't know what will trigger it next. So I've already had some things removed from that, okay? So for me, who used to love to sit in the sun, who now runs away from it, okay? So what we have here is when we get to the realization that the things that we're trying to overcome are really harming us, then it's much easier to stay away from them. Okay? Have any of you ever had a situation where you knew somebody that was just argumentative? And almost every time they get into it, I knew who it was. Okay, but the point is that if you know someone is going to get into an argument, what would you do?
Don't get into it to begin with.
No. Well, what did you say? You avoid them. You avoid them. I mean, there are people that I avoid. Okay, I know this. No, you avoid them. Like it's going to happen every time anyhow. So you avoid them. So if you know that something is going to bring you down, you avoid it. So we could say that Lent is the great opportunity to learn how to avoid, how to stay away from something. Okay? Because that's what our society is teaching us, to just go for it. Okay? People that don't... anybody here ever got drunk? You never got drunk? Drunk, you know. Been drunk? Okay. Anybody here, is there anybody here that gets high over one drink? Huh? A buzz, yeah. I'm not talking about falling down drunk and stupid drunk. Buzz. Okay, anybody buzz? One drink? Glass of wine, beer? Yeah, definitely. So now, my mother was not a drinker. So when my mother would go to a social function, she would, can I borrow that green cup? I'll give it right back to you. And they used to drink scotch and water. My mother would have this much scotch and that much water. And she would nurse it all, thank you. She'd nurse it all night long so people wouldn't say, oh, Alice doesn't want to drink. She didn't like to drink. What I'm getting at is that once you realize something is bad for you, look at this beautiful baby here. Okay? Now, I guarantee you that her mother and father, okay, if she had a tendency to climb out of the crib, they're going to be watching her more carefully, right? Because she's going to climb out of the crib. Okay, so if you know the thing is bad, why would you go back doing it again? Do you think it's going to change? And let's be even more honest. Is there anybody here, and this is especially for this table over here, is there anybody here that could watch pornography? I mean, I'm talking about real disgusting raw stuff. Okay, is there anybody here that could watch that really disgusting raw stuff and not have a reaction? No. It's intended for you to have the reaction. Therefore, thinking, okay, I can watch a little bit of this. Okay? Monique, you there? She knows this story. Listen, it's a great story. You know this story. Picture yourself 70 years ago, 80 years ago, could be Greece, could be Russia, could be Romania, where they arrange marriages. Okay? So this family in one town, they have a son, they want to get him married. And before you think how archaic that is, believe me, there'd be a lot less divorce in this country if children's marriages were arranged by their parents. Because their parents know the children, and they know that this is going to be a disaster. But that's another topic for another time. So they have the boy. They know in the next village over, there's a man that has 3 daughters. Okay? They said, let's go and meet the people and see, maybe there's something we can, arrange. So they go and they know what they're coming for. So the mother and father of the boy come, they're sitting down, and at least I know in the Middle East, they bring you, when you come to the house, they bring you cigarettes. Like offer you cigarettes, which is disgusting, but anyhow. They bring the cigarettes, yeah. So the girl comes in, one of the girls comes in, and she's dragging her leg. And the father of the boy says to the father of the girl, what's her story? He said, oh, she's a wonderful girl. Great girl. She's a little bit crippled, but it doesn't make that much difference. Okay. The next thing they bring coffee. That stuff that takes paint off of cars. Anyhow, they bring this coffee. And this one comes in and she's doing this. So they take the coffee and the father says, what's the story with her? He said, she's a beautiful girl, very kind-hearted, very gentle, but she's a little bit blind. But just a little bit. It doesn't really make much of a difference. Third thing they bring some sweets. This girl comes in, she's knocked out, drop dead gorgeous. I mean, she's beautiful beyond. They look at her and she comes in, she brings the sweets, and then the father says, tell me about your other daughter. He said, oh, she's a wonderful girl, she's a beautiful girl, very good. She's a little bit pregnant, but it doesn't make much of a difference. There's no such thing as a little bit pregnant, my friends, okay? There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a little bit of sin. There's no such thing as a little bit of temptation. This is what happens during Lent, is you become very refining of what the temptations are. You didn't see them before. No, you don't always see them, okay? You don't always see them. Okay, it's a spiritual, you're opening your spiritual eyes. So this week, in preparation for Lent, don't be thinking about, oh God, not again. The only people that should think like that are the people that don't want to get better. If you want to improve your life, if you want to get closer to Jesus Christ, you need Lent. That's why my friend Subdeacon Chaz and I, we look forward to Lent. And as far as what Maria said before is the work, But let me tell you this, for the priest, the workload increases because there are more services. Okay? So for the priest, it's not a time of relaxation. There's more, and it shouldn't be a time of relaxation for anybody. You should be more really vigilant as to what you're doing. Because that's why when it happens, when we sing on May 4th, actually, night of May 4th to Saturday, Christ is risen, there's an exuberance, there's a joy, it's almost bursting, okay? Not because I can go back to what I was doing before. I told you the story before, the guy, Roman Catholic, Italian, and he said to me he was giving up cursing for Lent. I said, oh God, I don't want to be around you on Easter Sunday, because what do? You break the fast. So how's he going to break Easter Sunday? Christ is risen? No, blah, 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 all the bad stuff. Okay, so don't use Lent as a time to give up stuff that you shouldn't be doing in the first place. Look at Lent as a time to really redirect your attention to get better. Because, my friends, when you read this book, you're going to realize how important it is to get better. Okay? So, Gabrielle, we're going to have to order. It's about $20. Okay? If you order them in bulk, it might be a little bit less. It's going to be worth, believe me, you will thank me that you bought this book. And again, I don't get anything out of it, but I mean, I got a lot out of the book, but I don't get anything out of the sales. So, Gabrielle, I'll give it to you.
The bookstore doesn't either. We don't get anything out of it either.
Our bookstore is a convenience.
What it costs. The books are so expensive.
Okay. Any questions? Thank God.
No, this is necessary. When did you say baptism was? March 30th or the 17th? Baptism.
Okay, the baptisms, I had to move the baptism to the 30th because family called me, they want to baptize a baby, and they could not do it on the 16th. So since we weren't hardcore concrete on the 16th, we moved it to the 30th, okay? And that'll be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And everybody that wants to get baptized needs to contact me, okay? Because you don't just go helter-skelter, go and baptize people. But I'm telling you, you have time. Okay, that's almost, that's 3 weeks away. You can read this book and the Orthodox Church. I am not a hardcore strict on catechesis, okay, because I feel that catechesis is an ongoing process. I mean, you can look at, I don't want to pick on her, you can look at Gabrielle. She's been a member of the church for many, many, and she's still learning. So you will continue to learn. You don't get to a magic point, I know everything. Well, some people that think like that, but they don't, okay. Any other questions? Is it a question or?
No question.
Okay, all right. Dwight.
Remember I was telling you about that oil I got?
Say it again louder.
I said, remember the oil I told you I have? Oil?
Oil.
Yeah, the oil from the myrrh. What do I do with that?
Oh, you mean from the icon?
Yeah.
Oh, you should ask Suzanne. Suzanne, when we had that icon here, they gave her a cotton swab with the oil on it. She still has it, and it still smells. It's been a couple of years, so just keep it in your prayer corner. And that's the other.
The icon of the copy of the original.
Right. Well, I don't know if he's got that though. And if you don't have it.
I got the oil. I got a cotton ball. And they gave me a few icons of the so.
Okay, I wanted this because you brought that to mind. Please listen up. Does everybody here have a prayer corner in their house or their apartment or their camper or their I don't know what else? Does anybody here not know what a prayer corner is? Okay, prayer corner. If you look over there, where the picture of St. George, the painting of St. George, that's a corner. Okay, what you do is you get it's like what do you call that, Alex?
Like a shelf.
Like a shelf. Okay, if you don't have a shelf, you can use a table. But the point is that area becomes like your little church. Okay, you have an icon, you have a candle there. If you have you can get an incense burner from the bookstore, burn a little incense. Your Bible is there, and that's where you should be going and saying your prayers, because every home becomes a little church. Okay, every home becomes. I mean, I'm very fortunate that I have a chapel in my house, which I built many years ago. But it works well for me because I have services there. But I think everybody needs to have a prayer corner, and in your case, go in a closet. Have you been to my house?
No.
Okay, my chapel, from the day I got into that house, which is back in '86, it was never anymore a bedroom. It became a chapel. Guess where the altar was? Remember, it was a bedroom in the closet. Because the Bible says, go into your closet. So I said, okay, we'll just go in the closet. So with that closet, I cleaned it out and made that into the altar area. Go in. Don't you have a closet in the apartment?
Yeah, but it's full of clothes.
Be ingenious and come up with something. You need to have a place, especially for you and your son, that you can go and pray. It's dedicated just to that prayer. It doesn't have to be the whole room, but an area, okay? And it can be, I know there's some, it can be in the bedroom, okay? It can be in the bedroom. No, because I remember a little old Greek lady, Yaya, she said to me, Father, you have icon in the bedroom? I said, yes. She goes, oh, no. I said, why? She says, because you know what you do in the bedroom. No. I said, sleep. That's, I mean, as long as you're married, something else, no, obviously not. But you need to have a place where you can go just pray. And you'll find something. Somebody else put their hand up. Yes, sir.
He's sitting back saying that in the closet I got clothes.
Speak louder.
Nah, he's saying that I got clothes and stuff in the closet. We're already talking about that, right? I can't turn your closet into a prayer closet.
Where is the one place in an apartment, a house where you should not have a prayer corner?
Bathroom.
Bathroom. Yeah. Okay? You know why? Because the bathroom, True story. The monks in the monastery, they say pray without ceasing, praying all the time. Okay? So this one monk, he's in the little lavatory, and there's another monk in there that's praying. So the first monk goes to the abbot, the head of the monastery. He said, monk so-and-so is praying in the bathroom. Not supposed to be. So the abbot calls him in. He says, is it true you're praying in the bathroom? He said, yes. He said, you're not supposed to do that. He said, but you said pray without ceasing. You see, so one seems to contradict the other one. But it's generally not the place to have a prayer room, okay? All right, thank you very much.